Hi, and thank you for joining me again for my GNM Digestible Morsel series. So this video is focusing on the fourth biological law, which at this current time with the issues that we are facing is particularly relevant. I'm not going to go into how this relates to the current situation, as it will become clear and you will be able to decide this for yourself. So as a reminder, before I go on, please make sure you have watched the previous videos in this series before watching this, as you need to understand the first three laws to fully appreciate the information I'm about to cover. And as a very brief summary, the first law states that what we call disease is a purposeful and meaningful biological program, which is triggered by a conflict shock to assist the organism to cope with the trauma. And this program happens at the psyche, brain and organ level. In the second law, we saw that biological programs run in two phases, the conflict active phase and the healing phase, which occurs after the conflict has been resolved. And we also looked at some complications that can occur. And the third law was all about the origin and development of biological programs and how the laws are rooted in embryology and the evolution of life on the planet, and therefore all of nature. So the fourth biological law is concerning the beneficial role of microbes, these being bacteria, fungi, and we'll come to viruses a little later. Now, you may already be familiar with the notion that bacteria can be friendly, and the system of friendly bacteria in our bodies known as the microbiome. The alternative approach of the conventional paradigm refers to this as an essential part of the immune system, though, as we learned, this is termed as a support system in GNM, as the term immune implies that there are things that we need to fight. And we understand with the first biological law of GNM that this is not so. And this will also be confirmed in this law. Well, what if this goes even further and other microbes, not just bacteria, are purposeful and exist within us? This is precisely what Dr. Harmer discovered, not only with bacteria but all microbes. Now, after having previously battled with Candida for many years, this was a massive shock to me, that the Candida fungus was actually trying to heal my body and was not invading it. What Dr. Harmer discovered is that microbes existed in a dormant state within us, and in the course of a biological program, they were activated by the brain to perform a specific task. All so-called infections occurred in the healing phase of a program, and so all microbes are part of our healing. Some bacteria actually have specialist tasks, such as Staphylococcus, which is instrumental in the repairing of bone tissue, and tuberculobacteria and Candida fungus, which are instrumental in the breaking down of the additional temporary cells produced in the conflict active phase of old brain biological programs. So when microbes surround an area of healing, which will also include swelling and therefore pain, it is assumed by conventional science that they are causing the problem, and this is termed as an infection. It is even led to the assumption that cancer is a fungus in some research. But I will share a great analogy from another GNM teacher to explain this. It is a bit like saying fire engines cause fires, as they are always present when there is a fire. This is actually a fallacy or false logic called guilty by association. And there are more fallacies. As inflammation is thought to contribute to chronic conditions such as arthritis, and even localized swellings are deemed as something that is a malfunction of our bodies. But the fluid environment is actually purposeful and facilitates the healing as well as offering protection of the healing tissue. Another fallacy is the acidic environment. This is often touted as a cause of disease, with the advice to alkalize as a form of treatment or prevention. But it is the acidic environment that is created by the microbes so that they can thrive and carry out their tasks effectively. You see, another guilt by association. In fact, alkalizing when the body is in the healing phase of a biological program can cause complications, as the microbes actually require this acidic environment to thrive, as I've said. Another assumption is the white blood cells being our defense. They are present as they are supporting the healing process, not defending us from an enemy. So Dr. Harmer's studies go even further, and in line with the third biological law, he discovered that microbes that were required in each specific germ layer formed at the same time as that germ layer and were controlled by the same part of the brain that controlled that germ layer. And here is a diagram to show this. Do you see how beautifully purposeful and meaningful it all is? So we have fungus and mycobacteria in the endoderm, controlled by the old brain, and bacteria, which include staphylococcus and streptococcal, in the mesoderm and controlled by the new brain. I can't even imagine what Dr. Harmer went through on making these amazing discoveries and then finding nobody wanted to listen and that he was being attacked for this information. And you will also notice viruses, which has the added note, if they exist. This is because Dr. Harmer fails to find scientific evidence that viruses had been isolated and therefore even existed. But what he did find is that certain tissue in the ectodermal germ layer healed without the assistance of any microbes. So he therefore left this open. However, more recent work by many doctors, including Dr. Stefan Lanka, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, and many others who have come forward recently during these current issues that we are facing, have since been asking the same questions and declaring that what is believed to be viruses are actually protein particles, such as exosomes, produced by our own cells when they are under some type of stress, such as from emotions and toxicity. And they are part of the natural process of the body. So what we see in so-called viral infections are actually natural processes such as healing symptoms from conflicts, stress, or reactions to toxicity and poison. If we look at apparent outbreaks and the understanding of the biological laws, we can see the likely associated conflicts which may have triggered a mass healing, such as the healing of a separation conflict from friends, causing measles or chickenpox outbreaks, the mass healing at the end of a war, where we have often see the mass healing of territorial conflicts, and the clincher is that we can even experience these conflicts through our expectation and fear. So being told there is an outbreak or deadly pandemic may be all that is needed to produce symptoms. And as these symptoms are part of the healing phase of disease, and these protein particles that are called virus, that are labelled as virus, are actually produced by our own cells within our body, we can also see the mind-blowing concept that disease is not contagious. So what happens in cases where infections appear to go systemic, such as in sepsis? Well, as you know, when the body is in a state of non-stress due to healing with an intensive program, the non-stress state can encourage the healing of other ongoing biological programs that may be active or in hanging healing at the time. Distraction from active conflicts, as we are concerned over the new healing symptoms, could even cause that conflict to go into healing itself. So what we are seeing is multiple healings taking place. It is often severe, as these conflicts may have been in hanging healing or active for quite some time. So a few mind-blowing concepts there, but I hope that this has helped you to understand the fourth law and maybe offered some reassurance during this time too. I look forward to sharing some more GNM with you next time. Thanks for watching.